Hello, this is RSCKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to how to improve your camera quality on the Galaxy S25 series. Now, I will be using the Galaxy S25 Ultra for this video. However, you can use any of the S25. They all really do have about the same kind of features, but the main part is just going to be how much better your photos and videos are going to look after this video. Let me know in the comment section if you see an improvement. Now, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first one is an oldie but a goodie. I just always have to let you guys know, anyone new to Android, you can double press the camera button and it will immediately launch your photos. So that is simple and easy to do. So something you definitely want to know about and always have at the ready, just so you can take your photos and videos very simple and easily. Now, the biggest thing that I got so excited for when I first heard about it was the new ability that's right here, and that is to permanently change your exposure. Why is this so monumental? Well, almost all smartphones, especially the big three, Samsung, Apple, and Google, all have an issue where they overbrighten an image just a little bit too much. You would always want to slightly darken an image for the most part in almost every photo you take. And this makes it so it permanently stays this way. And all I'm saying is literally 0.3. That is fine for the majority of all photos and videos you take. They will automatically look so much better after this. You're gonna notice it in very bright areas, even in dark areas, they will always look better because they try to increase and crank up the brightness a lot, but you lose that photo of that perfect quality of having a slightly shadow area, and this is going to change it. Trust me, this is such a game changer. And the best part is it does work for both photos and videos. Videos, sometimes I go a little bit more to negative 0.5, but again, you can use it as a preference. And of course, you can always change it if you need to, right? You can always go a little bit less, a little bit more when you need to, but just as a good rule of thumb, negative 0.3 is kind of a safety net. Keep it at there and you're always gonna get better photos and videos. In a very bright day, I will do it to negative 0.5 if I'm shooting outside, and that's where I typically shoot a lot. If it's more of nighttime, then I'll take it back to a negative 0.3. And again, really, really much better videos and photos, of course, which is now what we'll get back to. The number one favorite feature that came from going to the S24 Ultra to the S25 Ultra is this feature. All right, second thing we're gonna go through is at the top, the motion area. Basically, if you have kids or pets, you want motion photo always on. And if you take a lot of group shots, you want photo motion on. Just what this provides you for is multiple photos so that if you miss something, what this does is basically you can view the photo so you can see, hey, I want that section, and then edit it and pull the exact one that you wanted. So this way I can go to motion photo and say, hey, this shot was perfect. Set this as the main image. And now it goes from a shot where I had nothing and when I actually took the photo to actually being exactly what I would have wanted. So this is really important to know, and have motion photo on is always a good thing to go for. Plus, if you have a bunch of people in a group shot, you can actually see if a second earlier one person was opening their eyes and have them open their eyes. So really cool editing features you can get from having motion photo on. Okay, next thing you're gonna wanna know about is on these bigger sensor phones, if you want to have macro shot on or off. So basically what this is focus enhancement. And the simple way to think about this is which camera is going to do what you want it to do. So if I have this feature off, which I normally do, what happens is that basically everything will look in place in this shot, right? The front looks just as clear as the back. I don't always like that. Actually, I want a bokeh effect, that blurring background effect. So I usually take focus enhancer off, and then that way the background is blurred when you're taking the photo and it looks a lot better. So most of the time I will use the main camera instead of allowing it to switch to the wide angle camera and main camera combination, so that you can have that nice blur effect. Natural, and it's just a lot better. So I would usually have focus enhance off. All right, now as we have more things here, we can tap right here and see a couple of different things. One, you can do filters, which feel free to kind of play with that. I don't really care for them that much. I wish Samsung had like a filter that just had vivid, and that's all I'd want. Only thing I would need, but they have more of, you know, different kind of flavors, basically, of lighting and tones and all this kind of stuff. Also, you can lose weight right away. Smoothness, get rid of wrinkles, acne, all this kind of stuff. Basically, if you want to do things like this, you have that ability, or you can turn it off. I think a lot more people use these features in selfie mode. 12 megapixels is where you do want to take most of your photos, especially in lower light. In a very bright area, you can feel free to do 50. And if you have it on a tripod, feel free to do a 200. But if you're not very still, you don't want a bigger sensor shot. 3x4, you can switch by 16:9 or 1x1, however you want to take a photo. And then we go to the ability on switching between these. So switching between them, you can just tap each one as you want. Once you tap one of them, 30 and 100 could appear. I'll show you where to fine tune that if you want, but simple and easy just to switch between them. And then we can go into settings and go over all the different settings you can do. All right, so here you can scan documents and text. Really good if you want to be able to extract text. So you can take a photo of something and literally take all the text out of it and copy it. Great for business cards, things like that. Scan QR code, shot suggestions. You leave all these on. Intelligence optimization. I set it to maximum for most of my photos just because I want to see what Samsung can really do. If you don't want that to really happen, you want to just take it as is, go ahead and put minimum if you really want, but I always like to just keep it at maximum. Definitely something you should note though. If you go ahead and hold down the shutter button, you can either take a bunch of photos or you can create a GIF. Either way. Advanced picture options. So the main thing is if you really are advanced, you can use high efficiency pictures. I don't recommend them if you're planning on sharing on social media, or else you have to convert them back. And for pro mode, you can do JPEG or JPEG and RAW. Again, this is for if you know what you're kind of doing. Selfies, you can go ahead and fight me on this, but for selfies, you always want to turn this off so it's not as previewed. What does that mean? That means that it will actually allow you to be able to read text when taking a selfie. So when you take a selfie, you'll actually be able to read the text when taking it, which is why this version is better. I don't care what anyone says, this is always going to be the better version. Some people feel weird, they'd say, oh, it looks weird and anything like that. You realize this is how the world looks at you. The flip version is how the world sees you. So it's fine, it's okay, let it be. And then down here, you can kind of see auto for FPS, allow it to switch between both when it needs to, and video stabilization on. For video options, here is where I definitely only kind of recommend a few things. So first thing I will say, I do not recommend HDR for most people. So I would turn that off for most people, and I would also turn log on in pro mode. Sure, if you know what you're doing, again, go ahead and feel free. But for these two, HDR has messed me up a couple of times when trying to share in social media. You can convert it right on the phone back to non-HDR so you can share on social media, but the 10-bit HDR is just, it's great, but it's not for those that want to record video and just post on social media. It's not for that. If we had social media platforms that accepted 10-bit color, great, but unfortunately they usually don't, so it's something that great for editors. Okay, and then when we go into shooting modes, these are different things you want to have on. One of the biggest ones is being able to say smile, capture, cheese, smile, or shoot to take a video or record video. These are going to be really good just because if you ever have your phone at an awkward angle and you can't take it really well, this will allow you to be able to do that very easily. So something you definitely want to always have there just to have it. Also, floating shutter is going to be really a lifesaver a lot of times. You can just literally grab your shutter, and that way you can hold your phone at a whatever angle and just tap it and you get a much better shot. It's always better than just actually pressing the buttons because you move the phone slightly when you do press it. So you want to make sure that your floating shutter is always around for you. And under settings to keep, the main ones I always do is set having this selfie angle so you don't have to change all the time. Super steady shot, I would leave off, and then definitely the exposure is the main one. Leave this on and your life will be bliss forever. Now, depending on your version of Samsung, depending on your version of the S25, you won't have this on your phone by default. you might have to get it from the Galaxy store and then get it. But again, it is available for your phone. So here you can actually do the 2x and 10x shortcuts, which I do have built in. So I love having those. Also, being able to have auto HDR, great to have. Soften pictures, I definitely like to have this off, but if you do like to have softer images, you know, whether it be for wrinkles or acne, or you don't shave often, you want a really good shot, this is a good way to kind of fix that. And then you also have lens distortion correction, always good to have, and resolution options to be able to use, and those are always good to have as well. Quick tap shutter. I personally like to have this off. This is a preference that does change, I believe, between every user, but the reason why I like this off is because I just want to be able to focus my photo and then take it, which I feel gets blurrier shots for the most part for me. Some people like it, some people don't. But that is also why I prioritize focus over speed. Again, this is what I like, and that's why I always have motion photo on to go backwards if I need to. As far as everything else, that is all how I have everything set, so hopefully that'll help you out. All right, and now we're gonna move on to video. So for video, the main thing to do right away is go ahead and change your video format to this one right here. UHD 60 frames per second is going to give you the best overall video quality. It's really the same format that this video is shot in. It's smooth, it is different, and it stands out so much. Every time I share this kind of video, everyone always is like, wow, that really looks good. So definitely something that I recommend. It's just a better looking type of format than 30 frames. 30 frames is boring. People like higher refresh rates on TVs and phones, and the only way to show that off is by having a higher frames per second on your phone videos. Then they also have this mode called Steady Shot. The main thing you want to know about this is that you only want to use this mode in a bright area. This uses a wide angle camera, which is not going to be good in dark areas, so definitely want to switch over only if you're in a very bright area, or else just try to keep it steady. Then from there, there's two other modes that I really want to let you know about. The first one is definitely food mode. This phone takes the absolute best shots of food, bar none. If you ever take a photo with a food, this is your phone to get. And you can just blur everything out around it, make sure the square is exactly where you want it to be. Bam, it's vibrant, it's popping, it will get the most likes ever. For food photos, there's no contest. Samsung always has the best version of it. Now, there's a couple of other things here that you can highlight. I love dual recording. That is where you can vlog very easily by doing yourself in a photo and just basically move this around, simple and easy, and you can select which cameras it uses, front and ultra wide, or front and wide, or front and telephoto. By default, it usually should be the front and the ultra wide, and then that's going to be the main kind of two that would just give you the best overall experience, and you can swap them out just by pressing that, and there you go. I love this if you're a vlogger. This is like the best way to vlog easily, and you can change it to Ultra HD, 30 frames only, unfortunately, but it's something that you have the ability to do. And I do want to point out, you can change the exposure here as well. So again, -0.3, and you're going to be golden. All right, after that, you do have Pro mode and Pro video if you want to have those. You have hyperlapse, portrait video, all these different things. Not the biggest fans, or don't use them quite often. Portrait video, the main thing I always want to point out with this is just make sure that you don't have the strength so high. Having it about 3 is fine for that blurry video that will make it look good, but not so fake and kind of low quality. But 0 obviously is none. 3 is kind of the sweet spot, and you can go all the way to 7. But 3 is pretty much that sweet spot that I would recommend for that cinema-like looking video. All right, and finally we're going to end on selfies. So selfie, the main thing you'd want to know is just that you can do a wider angle. I usually recommend just shooting on this and then cropping it if you need to. So always a good way to go. And then the second thing is on this icon right here, you can do either neutral or warm. See what you like better. I think it's definitely a skin tone preference, but just see what you like. I usually go neutral just because I'm probably the palest of most of the people to take photos with. So for that reason, I'll go neutral. Warm kind of gives a weird one with darker skin tone, so I don't recommend it. And all right, guys, that was how to take better photos and videos on the S25 Ultra. If you want to see me do a full-scale editing feature, because there is a lot of features for editing, let me know in the comments section. Hopefully you did like this video and found it helpful, and let me know if your photos and videos come out better now. Thank you as always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy.
Thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, follow me on social media at YouTube Tech Guy. And check out some more great tech videos on your screen right now.